Hey, how's it going? I'm looking at the odd death of Elisa Lam, one of the creepiest YouTube videos out there. If you haven't seen it, it's she's this woman, this Asian woman. She's in an elevator and she's kind of, it looks like somebody is following her, and she's peeking in and out of the elevator and stuff, and she's freaking out. That's what I thought when I first saw this video, but when I read more into it and learned more about who Elisa was, I realized that it probably wasn't that. She probably wasn't being pursued by a killer or whatever. Okay, so a little background on Elisa. She was a college student from Vancouver, Canada, and she was doing a West Coast tour, as she called it. And her last stop was the Cecil Hotel, which has a colorful history. One of them being Elizabeth Short being her last stay before she was murdered. And if you don't know who Elizabeth Short is, she's the Black Dahlia victim. They called her the Black Dahlia because they didn't know who she was for a while. And then there was also Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, stayed there while he was doing his thing, and a guy named Jack Unterweger who also did violent things to women. So there are some theories out there that Elisa was possessed, attacked, stalked by these negative entities. Not necessarily Elizabeth Short, of course, but Ramirez and this Unterweger guy. I gotta say that it's more than likely that she was just suffering from mental illness. What she was severely bipolar and depressed, which I couldn't imagine being bipolar and depressed. Is that even possible? Because bipolar is a schizophrenic up and down type of depression, but apparently she was bipolar and depressed, which seems like you just be depressed all the time. I don't know. I'm not a clinical psychologist. But okay, so let's look at the elevator video, which is creepy as shit. I mean, okay, and when I first saw it, like, I thought she was just being, maybe somebody, definitely did her in, because I mean, look at her, look at how she's acting. She's acting like she's peeking around the corners real fast, and it looks like somebody's pursuing her. But she was probably just seeing things or something, because the more I looked at it, the more I realized she's not lucid. She seems under the influence of something. Although the toxicology reports say she was completely clean, she was fine. I don't know if she was or wasn't taking anything for her illnesses, but there was no like ecstasy or any type of drug that would mess all that up and make her go crazy. Okay, now, and she's in the elevator, and who gets in an elevator and presses all the floors all at once? Who would do that? If you want to get away from somebody, press lobby. Boom, lobby. And I'm going to the lobby, and that's it. She presses every button. The weird thing is that the elevator doesn't react. Maybe it's because it's not used to getting all its buttons pressed, and it just didn't, the doors didn't close, and it didn't go to the first button that was pushed, which is usually what elevators do, right? So that's kind of weird, okay? And there's another weird thing I'll get to at the end. But, so she does all that, and there's also this point where she's looking this way and that way, she peeks out, and then she hides. Okay, that's where, I thought it was she's being stalked. But then she does something that's weird, like the button pushing. She goes out and she's like doing this weird like dance, like it's like she's dreaming. She is totally sleepwalking. Totally, because I do that shit. I will get out of bed. I'm a sleepwalker, okay? I used to have night terrors, which was worse. I would pop up out of bed, dreaming that spiders and snakes were climbing the fucking walls. I guess the skeleton isn't really appropriate to help me with that fear, but I I would get up, I'd turn on my light, and, you know, it's like, oh God, I was dreaming. But now in my adult years, it's more just like sleepwalking. Like the other night, I took my blanket and I dragged it into the hallway, and I dreamt that I was showing my boss the defects of the blanket. I was like, and the next thing you know, I was sleeping on the floor in the living room. Okay, so I mean, that's what she was doing, and that's my theory. Is like she had like this perfect storm of like just being mentally ill, and having a sleep episode. It doesn't say, nobody's ever mentioned this in her case, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of sleepwalking, to be honest with you. But even if it wasn't, it probably was just a psychotic episode. The other weird thing that correlates to the elevator not responding, even though she made it go freak out probably, the door was locked, okay, to the upstairs water tank where she eventually died, okay? Yeah, that's the other thing about this story that's crazy, is she was found dead floating in this water tank, okay, that fed the whole hotel all its water in a nearby coffee shop. And eventually that's how her body was found. It was like people were drinking the water and it's like, what the, you know, it's like foul odor and weird color because there's a decomposing body in the water supply. So she just wanted to go skinny dipping. But how did she unlock a door that's locked and not set off an alarm? That's weird. I mean, maybe there was something paranormal going on. Maybe. I doubt it, but whatever. I think she was sleepwalking. But I don't know. It's pretty weird, and it gives me the creeps. I've had the creeps all night, you know, looking around and, you know, studying this event, footage and stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. Go see it for yourself. It's creepy, man. All right. Good night. Stay in bed.